What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Reality TV RHAPpy Hour. My name is Jordan Parhar, and as always on a Sunday night during the Big Brother OTT season, I'm here with you with the live feed correspondents to discuss what is going down in the BB house. First on the panel tonight, if you're new to the show, is a man who is not a Michael Phelps fan. It's Alex Kidwell, ladies and gentlemen. Alex, how are you?
Of course, Jordan. Anything I share with you, I have to just know will not be held in confidence. I don't know why I keep doing these things to myself.
What's wrong? No, but Alex, there's nothing wrong with not being a Michael Phelps fan. There's lots of other people that don't like Michael Phelps.
All I'll say is that, secondhand, I know a lot of people who grew up with the guy, went to swimming meets and stuff like that. By all accounts, he's not a very nice person. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'll say.
And in fairness to me, I didn't ask you why you didn't like him. I just said you didn't like him. So I didn't completely throw you under the bus. I just
but you forced me to clarify.
I slowly pushed you towards the front of the bus, but you didn't actually have to step off. So
yeah.
Anyway, for next time when you complain, I'm going to that. Second is a man who just woke up from a 2-hour nap, but he's here and he's ready to talk about some BBOTT. It's Brent Wolgamott, ladies and gentlemen. Brent, how are you?
I'm here. I'm queer. Whatever. Sorry, the old phrase like we're here, we're queer, get used to it. That was like a thing in the 90s, but like if all of you people are too young, you don't know any of that. So go to hell. Whatever. I'm up. I'm here. This is the best I can do for you people.
And Brent, we do appreciate it. Yeah, Alex, you said so. Alex knows. You're not.
Alex
too young,
knows.
Alex.
Good. Okay, cool.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And last but not least, I don't know what campaigns he's working on at the moment, but I'm sure he's got some stuff going on. It's Taran Armstrong, ladies and gentlemen. Taran, how are you?
One of you owes me an apology because somebody went through my clothes, and I'm very upset about it.
All right, Chrissy.
Taran, I'm sorry that I stole your Ezekiel Elliott jersey from your closet. I know you're a big
trash,
Cowboys
Jordan.
fan.
Trash.
Screw you. I don't care what. I don't get why. When you do it, it's not a big deal. But then when I do it, it's like it's World War III. Taran, what the hell is this?
Listen,
the hypocrisy
when we put
of it all.
armpits, when I put my armpits over your pillows, that was just a fun joke. Going through my clothes is just ridiculous.
That is not a fun joke, Taran. That is a smear campaign, and I won't stand for it.
A smear campaign.
Yeah, I've been waiting 2 days on that. Well, a day and change.
Well done, Alex. Bravo, Kidwell. Bravo. All right, let's set things up for you guys. If you're new to the RHAPpy Hour, what we do on this show is we discuss what is going down on the live feeds with the live feed correspondents live here on RHAPpyHour.com. We're taking your questions live. If you want to get those in, you can tweet them to me. I am at Jordan Parhar. You can use hashtag RHAPpy Hour to send those in. If you want to subscribe to the show on YouTube and watch us for future live shows, you can go to RHAPpyHour.com/YT. So, guys, let's talk about the current state of the Big Brother house. We've got a safety ceremony set up for this evening, about 7 p.m. Big Brother time. So less than a couple hours away. We had the first one last night. Taran, what were the results of that safety ceremony?
A few people were given safety. Justin, Alex, Whitney, and who was the other one?
Yeah, Jordan, you idiot. Safety.
Jason, Justin, Alex, and Whitney.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jason, Alex, Whitney, and who am I missing? Who's
Justin.
Thank you.
Can't forget me, boo.
That's right. He was granted safety at the safety ceremony. Okay, so that happened. We also had discussion last week. Checked in with Alex and Taran. You guys were on RHAPpy on Friday. There was talk of the power of veto twist with the care package, and there was some debating going on, or maybe there was at first as to how Scott was going to use it. He ultimately came to a consensus. Alex, did he follow through with that consensus? Did he go with the double veto?
Well, he hasn't had to yet. He's still got the time.
So when exactly is that announcement going to come?
That's an extended, drawn-out debate that's raging online right now about the veto options, the various veto options and nomination options, because we knew what was on the table on Thursday and, even kind of Wednesday night. And so it's been a conversation for so long, and we're not going to actually find out until really Monday. I don't think he actually has to, at the ceremony he declares, right? So yeah. He may even get to find out who America's nominee is and then declare. Yeah, he will. Because it'll be at the veto ceremony, or no, it'll be at the ceremony right before the veto competition.
Right, the draw, I guess.
I think he chooses after they're drawn. I think.
Yeah, I would imagine that's probably when he would do it. Although who knows? This is BBOTT. So okay, so we've got that going on. Another safety ceremony happening tonight. Brent, in terms of the nominations, still the game plan still locked in place. Scott is planning to backdoor Danielle or Shane.
Yeah, he's still planning on putting up Chrissy and Neely, and I don't know. I'm kind of ambivalent about his plan, I guess. I mean, if it works, great. On the other hand, I do think there's a great possibility that it could backfire. I feel like his better option would be to just put up Shane and Danielle if that's what you really want to have happen. But he's going to make his bed, and we'll see how it's going to turn out.
And the other wrench in the plan potentially as well is this America's nominee, Taran. That's going to get announced, I guess, tomorrow. Voting opens up later this evening. So what, in terms of the polling, in terms of your polling, because your polls have been up this season and they have been accurate.
Moderately accurate.
Moderately accurate.
I guess my point is anyone else's, I suppose.
I guess my point is this, that they are more... like they're more nuanced. Like if it's like 70-30 Monty going home, your poll would say like 50-40-10 Monty going home. So you're getting the right result. Well, I'm telling you that it wasn't as close as your poll said it was.
Well, my poll didn't say it was close. It was other polls that said it was close. My poll was kind of a runaway.
Right. So this is oh god, it's just always I can't with you.
You keep
early.
giving inaccurate information. It's not
who do you know at CBS?
Look, when I looked at your poll,
it
was
know?
Like this big.
That was the other poll.
His micro poll.
Oh, Taran, yeah, you got to get that micro fix. I mean, the micro poll. I don't think it's a micro poll, Taran. I think it's a beautiful poll that you have.
It's like gotten up to like 2K, right?
So in terms of your poll, Taran, that you have up this weekend, you got it up again. Well done. What's it saying in terms of America's nominee? Because I'm seeing a lot of negative stuff towards Danielle, and if that's the case, then that could throw a huge wrench into the plans of Scott.
Yes, so I put up a preliminary poll. Voting has not opened yet, so things can change. I'll probably put up another one tonight. But this has been the most runaway poll that I've put up so far. Danielle is the favorite to be nominated. She has 57% of the vote. Morgan is in second with 27%. So it seems like pretty big margin there for Danielle to be put up. The Joker's poll confirms that. Other polls are also confirming that. So right now it looks like Danielle is probably a shoo-in at this point. However, we had some weird things happen with the have-nots, because every single poll in existence, basically, that had any sort of numbers attached to it, said that Danielle was the first likely to be a have-not, and Chrissy was the second likely to be a have-not, with way more votes than Alex. Alex was in fourth, in fifth, not even in the top three in really any of the major polls. And yet, Alex was one of the have-nots and Chrissy was not, which tells us that these polls are not necessarily as accurate as we think they are, even the Joker's ones with, upwards of 10 to 15,000 votes. So there is a fan out there that is there, a section of fans out there that are not voting in these polls, or these polls are getting inaccurate information.
Interesting. So, and this brings up a question. The first one of the day, this one comes from Chris Frick. He said, how in the world did Alex get voted a have-not over Chrissy? So you just brought that up. So Alex Kidwell, what do you think this means? I mean, Taran did bring that up, but could it mean that the fans that are voting in these polls are kind of just getting complacent and forgetting to vote? And some of these other, I don't know who is anti-Alex, but for whatever reason, all of these anti-Alex people are throwing the votes on her, because my mind was blown when I saw that Chrissy was not named a have-not. And to be honest, I was a little bit upset.
Yeah, well, me too. I think probably my best guess would be it speaks to like the closest thing there is to maybe like a casual BBOTT viewer, in the sense that Chrissy was clearly aligned with Jason from the beginning, and like Chrissy has used the thing to protect Jason. And if people are, to me, the most likely person just off the top of my head who would be, going to CBS.com and voting, but not going anywhere else, would be someone who's like kind of casually watching or getting updates from Twitter or whatever. And if that's the case, then maybe they are not as irritated by Chrissy as those of us who have listened to her for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours.
Yes. Well, also the other thing that I was thinking, and I said this on Twitter, is that I don't understand why it's such a surprise to people, because Alex was always in 4th place from the polls that I was seeing for the most part. And I mean, and it was relatively close. Like it was like you had this clear number 1 at the top, and then 2nd, 3rd, and 4th were always like, 15%, 13%, 11%. There's a lot of wiggle room there for somebody to squeak into the top 3. And beyond that, the people that wanted Alex as a have-not were very vocal about it. I mean, they were pissed off at Alex. They wanted her up there. They don't think it's fair that she has her sister in there. That's why a lot of people are trying to nominate Morgan for America's nominee. And they think that she's against the whole Jason crew. And whether that's fair or not, I mean, I think it's debatable. Even today, Alex was trying to think of a deal where she could, align herself with Jason and Justin, and the more likable people of the misfits that we tend to like on the outside here. So I'm not surprised that she became a have-not. I was just more surprised that Chrissy didn't become a have-not. On the other hand, like Alex said, there's plenty of look. My vote counts just as much as someone who literally doesn't watch any of the feeds, that just knows Jason is on OTT and logs on to CBS.com. They may not know anything about what's going on in the game. They just know that this chick looks like a friend of Jason, and she's kind of a misfit like me, and I don't want to make her a have-not. I want to make the pretty cheerleader blonde bitch the have-not. Let's do that to her. That's how people think.
I will say that there was one poll where Chrissy was about 15%. I think Alex was at 11 or 12. But most of the polls, including the Joker's ones, had Alex or had Chrissy ahead by a very large margin, which is why. Like 10%, like 30,000 votes, like a large
30,000 votes
with counting multiple votes per person.
Okay.
So.
But that's the other thing on CBS.com.
A bug in the Matrix.
On CBS.com, you can't vote multiple times for. You only have 20 votes, and once they're gone, they're gone. Like, so you can't sit there and click. Like if you want to vote for somebody.
They gave them 20 votes each. It's to try to replicate the CBS things. But basically,
is this like the snap poll with Donald Trump? Like he's claiming that he's the winner. I don't know.
Okay, so I think I don't think that we need to necessarily throw out all the poll data yet, because this is a case where even though Alex was behind by a large margin, things get a lot trickier when there's 3 people to put up there.
Exactly.
There are a lot of different combinations of people that people are going to make have-nots, and the data being off in this instance isn't nearly as big as data being off, if it was between 2 people. So I think that when it's between 2 people, we can still probably trust in these polls as long as there's a 5 to 10% margin, as long as there's enough voters. But we're definitely going to have to be a little more skeptical believing in them from now on.
And I will admit, guys, I have not voted once on any of these things. So in terms of the actual, and I don't know if you guys have either. I
vote all the time.
I finally broke. Jordan.
Okay, because I know Alex, you don't. Okay, so well done.
No, it's not, Jordan. I don't feel proud of it, and neither do you.
Well, what I was going to say is how, in terms of the voting then, Brent, is it when you vote for the have-nots, do you just vote for one so you have 20 votes and you use those 20 however you want, or you have 20 ballots where you fill out 3 people?
That's what I exactly to the latter. You have 20 votes. You can vote for however you want. You can put them all on one person. You can put them all on 3 people. You can put them all on 5 people if you want. If you want to give 5 people votes for have-nots. Again, the people that really disliked Alex were using all of their 20 votes and voting for Alex. The people that didn't really care about Alex, so they kind of disliked Chrissy, disliked Shelby. They were like 6 votes for Shelby, 6 votes for Chrissy, that sort of thing. And that's why I really wasn't surprised that Alex became a have-not. But apparently some people are.
I don't get why everyone needs 20 votes. Like, why 20?
I agree,
Where did they settle on 20? Like
one.
Just one.
Yeah, or like I guess they thought like, okay, well, people have like they just think their fans do nothing with their time, right? So they're just like, well, they're gonna want to click more buttons.
Well, I don't know.
Let's give them 50,000. Well, we can't do that. Well, it's like,
is there some sort of call to action every time you vote? because that might be it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
They get that in your face more often.
Some kind of like backwards subliminal message.
Yeah,
please.
every time you vote, you can share it with Twitter or Facebook.
Yeah, so maybe
that may be it.
Oh,
maybe
wow.
that's what it is. But interesting stuff there. Okay, so personally, I'm going to go back to what Brent said, and I don't know, Brent, if you said this on the Sunday show last week or the recap with Big Meech, but it's sort of like, the American Idol thing, where I think people just assume, oh, okay, well, so and so safe, so I don't need to do this. Oh, well, Chrissy obviously is going to go up because, or as a have-not, because everybody's doing this.
Everybody hates her.
Yeah, exactly. So people are like, I don't need to vote. I don't need to vote. And I think the message here is, for you guys listening, if you want something to happen, go vote for it, because if you get complacent and don't vote for it, the other people that are like worried about their person, they are going to vote, and it's gonna come through, and it's gonna happen.
I have far more confidence that America is going to nominate Danielle as the nominee, because I've seen basically nothing but Danielle from people out there, and the people who are voting for Danielle are very, very enthusiastic about it. So again, I would be stunned if it's anybody but Danielle, something fishy's going on.
Yeah, well, the discrepancy that I think lies in the fact that you've got some people coinciding. Like, it's going to be interesting to see when different people who are trying to, steer a game a different direction coincide at the same result for different reasons, right? Danielle, that's the case this week, because you've got a lot of people just irritated at her for all kinds of social faux pas she's committing and things she's saying. And then you've also got the strategists wanting to put her on the block for various reasons to try to balance out the game. So
the hilarious part,
all signs point that way,
is that I heard Scott on the feeds earlier today talking with Alex, going like, man, it will be really, really terrible if America nominates Danielle, because then that'll blow my whole plan of trying to make sure that Shane doesn't get to play in the veto competition and he can take her off. And I'm like, oops.
Well, Scott, I don't know. I mean, Taran, seriously, poor Scott, right? I mean, this guy has got to be thinking, because after this Danielle nomination happens, he's going to be so freaking confused, because he goes up as a have-not last week. This week he wins HOH. This week he gets the care package, but then this week he pleads for America not to put Danielle up, and then they put Danielle up, which I don't think that's to his fault. I think it's just, it has to do with Danielle, but I don't even know if there's a question there, but it's just like, what, like, poor guy, like, poor everyone. How do you play this game? Seriously.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily poor him. I don't think he's necessarily like pleading to not put Danielle on the block either. I think that he's worried about worst case scenario, which is, oh man, what if Danielle went on the block and then Shane was picked to play veto and then Shane won the veto? That would be terrible.
But also too, Taran, if he goes through with his plan of using these two vetoes, now before his plan was, oh, okay, well, there are 3 nominees and there's these other people we're going to have, and odds are Shane and Danielle aren't both going to get picked, but now Danielle's automatically playing, so there's one person. Now all that needs to happen is for Shane to win it as well. Like, there's 2 chances for them to win 1 veto. I don't know. I think it's not good for him.
But Shane needs to win the veto in this instance. So Shane would need to be picked and win the veto. And if Danielle is not on the block, and say Shelby or Morgan is up on the block as America's nominee, if one of the ball smashers wins the veto, they have to use the veto on their ally that's on the block that cannot be replaced. So in that instance, they also just need to win 1 veto. And so, as I mentioned on the Friday show, if you crunch the numbers, the odds are essentially the same either way. All
right.
I don't know if Scott's done that math yet, but he's not necessarily screwed if Danielle goes on the block. It's really a wash either way.
Taran, did you use anything to do the math, or did you do it in your head?
I did use a calculator. I'm sorry.
Okay, so what's Scott going to use? Jelly beans?
That's true.
Yeah.
No, Crackle. He's going to use Crackle bars, Alex.
Well, he did get a bag of jelly beans with some fresh draws in his care package.
Oh, okay. That's good. He got some fresh underwear.
And he doesn't like the jelly beans, so you may as well use them for abacus.
All right. Okay. So, I mean, other than that, guys, any pressing matters we want to get into before we jump into the questions? Because I know, like Alex mentioned, not really too much has changed since Scott has won this HOH and since you guys were on the podcast with Rob on Friday.
Yeah, basically, if you're looking at the strategic landscape of the game, I think that the America's voting has kept the two groups separate from each other for the most part. There was like, it looked like things were going to start to mix up, and the house was going to start to shift around. But when Monty got put up on the block and sent home, that divided the groups again. And so now nobody's on the block, and there's talk again of combining, mixing up the groups essentially. As Brent mentioned, Alex was talking with Scott about wanting to form some sort of alliance with him, Jason, Justin, and Neely. To try to form some sort of like, we'll keep each other safe. And then, once they finally start to go after people that we want to keep, like Shelby, then we'll have to split away from them potentially. But this is the sort of thing that I think a lot of people who like to watch strategy want to see. So hopefully it will go through. Hopefully nothing goes wrong with this plan, and they're able to just take out one of the showman's members, which allows these two groups to finally have some sort of peace talks, at least part of them. And we've also seen Justin do a very surprisingly good job of playing the middle, actually. He's been going to the Ball Smashers and the Virgin King, and he's been hanging out with them. He's been having a good time with them. He's been like, oh man, those guys don't want me hanging out with you guys, but I like hanging out with you guys.
Question.
And okay.
Is he I'm sorry to interrupt your soliloquy here, but is he playing the game, or is he just being a nice guy? Because from where I'm sitting, it's the latter.
Well, I think it comes from his natural instincts to be a nice guy, but he has expressed that he's kind of figured out that what he's doing is good for him. Where it's like, man, if I'm good with everybody, then nobody's going to come after me. So, oh man,
right.
this is a good thing.
Right, and I heard Alex earlier today saying, well, I think I'm good with Justin, and Scott's like, yeah, I do too. And then they're like, but the problem is I think everybody else also thinks that too. So they're on to the fact that he's really, really good.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a testament to Justin's social game that he's essentially doing, I mean, not much different than what Scott was trying to do a couple weeks ago. And Scott was just like everyone's like #1 most hated, enemy rat floater. And Justin is like loved by everyone and making them dinner right now.
Yeah, I think the difference is that Scott practices like radical honesty, and Justin is able to tell people what they want to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's, I wanted to jump into the questions, but before we do that, let's do a quick round of one of my favorite games, the Stockwatch. Let's get into it. I want to hear what you guys have to say about where these people are standing in the house. First, Alex, are you buying or selling Scott after his HOH so far this week?
Yeah, based on relative to last week, I'd say buying, because he was in such a bad spot after Cornbread left, and it looked like Monty was going to go. It looked like Scott could easily be going out the door this week or next week. And it's still not necessarily in a great spot once he gets out of HOH, but certainly this week he has so far used it, and it's allowed him to kind of like distance himself from everyone's the forefront of everyone's mind, which is where he had been coming into this week. Everyone was very adamantly anti-Scott. He was being blamed for the reasons that Monty and Justin didn't get along, among other things. So he's managed to escape that target, at least for now. So for that reason.
Brent, how would you rank Scott's HOH so far on a scale of 1 to 10?
Wow, I'd give it about an 8. I mean, 10 would be like do no harm and get your target out. I mean, like assuming he gets his target out, I think that he's gonna create a few waves here by nominating Chrissy and Neely. We haven't seen how Neely has reacted yet to being on the block. I don't know how she's gonna react. And we can, that Chrissy is gonna take it as a major affront to America's doing and bidding, like by putting me on the block. Like, how dare you? But we'll see. I actually think he's done an amicable job, considering there are a lot of variables that he can't control. That's why I was in favor of giving him the care package, which he got. And it did seem to make him feel a little bit better about himself. So, it was so funny watching the care package delivery, because at the time they gave him the care package, they were like, that's a lot of power, Scott. You got to work. You got to think about it. And then like after the fact, they're totally like, lampooning him, going like, that care package was shit. Like they don't like him. They don't like him at all.
Yeah, my worry about Scott and his HOH is that he has some things planned for his speeches. In particular, he wants to tell Chrissy that he feels like she has problems, adapting to certain social situations, and when she feels uncomfortable. And that is gonna set her off so much. I know it, because she thinks that she's like this master social person, right? Like she thinks that she's so great at everything. And so for somebody like Scott to tell her that she has issues socially, she is gonna lose her mind.
Yeah, I don't know, Taran. Give her a little credit. I think she might be receptive.
I reserve the right to change my score on Scott based on the results of the speech.
That is fair, Brent. Oh my goodness,
beads too. And here you go,
Alex. Though, if this happens, America is going to be so happy with Scott. Are they not? Like his popularity is going to soar.
Well, I wouldn't presume to speak for all of America, Jordan, but I will be delighted.
Oh my God, dude, I'm going to be so happy if Scott does that. I mean, that would just be so. I mean, terrible for his game personally, but I mean, could be good.
But it's terrible for his game in this game. I don't know if it shoots him up the Joker's charts. I don't know how terrible it is. It's
right.
It's a new and scary world we're trying to navigate here, Jordan. We're figuring out as we go in many respects.
Yeah, it's like the Wild West of reality TV
Westworld.
games. Yeah, well, exactly. There we go. Okay, let's move on to someone else. Brent, talk to me about Alex. Are you buying or selling Alex based on where she's at the current moment?
I'm buying where she's at. I feel like she's still one of the people that the Misfits would like to target. They would like to get rid of her. I feel like there are a few people on that side who really would like to get rid of Alex. On the other hand, she has done some good work in that she knows that she can't just rest on her laurels. She's not fine with just like, yay, we're winning HOH and yay, I have this alliance of plastic people. Like, that's not her. She wants to branch out and create relationships. And she realizes that those alliances are predicated on the fact that she first has to have a relationship with people like Justin and Jason and Neely. And she does have relationships with them. So I feel like that maybe that can bear fruit.
Taran, could you see these relationships that she's building turning into solid alliances anytime soon, or do you think that's more down the road at this point?
I'd probably say down the road. I think that here's what would happen. If she approaches people, somebody like Jason, and says, "Hey, can we maybe potentially work together?" And then her side wins HOH. Jason is going to take her up on that deal. He's going to be like, "Oh yeah, we're in together. You keep me safe from your side this week." And then they might be able to potentially build trust that week and then work together in the future. However, if Jason's side wins HOH, I think Jason is still in the mindset of Alex is probably my biggest threat and I need to make sure she leaves even if she wants to work with me. So I think that if his side wins HOH next week, we'll probably see him try to target her even if she tries to work with him.
Right. And Chrissy wants Alex nominated, and I feel like Neely would also want Alex nominated as well.
Okay. Speaking of Jason, Taran, I'll throw it back to you. It's buying or selling Jason at this point in the game?
I think I might have to sell Jason. I think that he's probably the person that's best suited to winning over the audience consciously. I think Justin obviously is best at it just doing it unconsciously, but I feel like Jason generally knows what buttons to push and how to frame things. Sort of like I saw Tim do it in Big Brother Canada. Obviously not to that level though. I think Jason has made some pretty big mistakes as well, like with Shelby. But despite this, he is slowly going down in popularity. And if one of the showmans leaves this week, I think people are going to start to look at him as the biggest target left on that side in the same way that Alex is on the other side. So I think he could be in hot water moving forward.
What's Jason, in terms of, we had Brent talking about these relationships that Alex is building. She's talking to other people in the house. Alex Kidwell, is Jason doing anything along those lines, or is he kind of just set with his misfit crew?
Well, I mean, he's branched out. I would say more than anyone but Justin. He's tried to do some branching out and talking to other people some this weekend. He does have like a final two kind of a deal with Justin. So that's like more, on a deeper level than kind of like the just whole general group. But yeah, no, I agree with Taran. I think, his problem, like there's nowhere to go but down from where he came into this game, right? He's #1 in popularity and he has a leg up. So yeah, now we're getting to a point where, people are starting to catch him in terms of popularity, and he's also engaging in like certain comments and stuff like that people are seeing as like, oh, Jason is not like as nice as I remember. Like, I've certainly seen that sentiment online. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. And yeah, this is a tough game.
I have a question for you guys. Just based on, we were talking about the final two between Jason and Justin earlier. Like, let's say that Scott's going to put 2 vetoes into play most likely here, and let's say that Shane wins one of them. What do you think would happen if, like, say Justin won the other veto? Do you think he takes down Chrissy and Neely, or Chrissy or Neely, with the possibility that Jason goes up in her place, or do you think that he would not use the veto to make sure that Jason stays safe?
I think he probably wouldn't use it because Jason might go up, right?
Yeah, I feel like Jason would be aware. He's obviously aware of that fact, and I think he would probably inform Justin and be like, "Hey, don't use the POV in this scenario, right?"
Yeah.
Right. I feel like if Jason's telling him not to and Scott the HOH is telling him not to, he's the kind of guy who'd be like, all right, like, I can't do it. They're telling me I can't.
They've had conversations where they've talked about, like, yeah, if we need to, Chrissy's kind of expendable. So, I feel like they'd be fine with her leaving.
And that's Jason and Justin have had those expendable conversations.
Had those conversations. I don't remember if Justin was involved, but
okay.
But I think Justin feels closer with Jason and Neely than he does with Chrissy for sure.
Okay, let's speaking of Chrissy, Alex, I'll throw this one to you. Buying or selling Chrissy at this moment?
Selling. She's in for a fall. It's only a matter of time, whether it comes this week or next or the week. I mean, it's coming, and it's coming soon, because she's built herself up to a point where there's nowhere else to go. I mean, she really has this idea in her head that she can do no wrong. And there's a lot going on that she seems to be very, very skewed in her perception of, and very hypocritical in regards to, more than many people in the house. And this is a house full of hypocritical, skewed people. So it's really, it's not like it's slim pickings here either. So it's rough.
Brent, what exactly happened with Chrissy over the weekend? I know Taran and Alex were referencing some sort of stealing of clothes that involved her and armpits. What exactly went down?
Well, there's 2 separate situations. I mean, the one was I can't remember. I think wasn't it the candy that was hidden under her clothes? Is that what it was? Yes, Taran?
They stole. Well, we talked about this on Friday, where the candy was stolen and then it was stolen back, and then and people are looking for it again.
Okay, so they told, apparently, and I must have missed this, Jason or maybe even Chrissy or some other people said, don't touch my clothes. Well, that's where the stuff was hidden at. And so, of course, people are looking for the candy, and it was hidden in Chrissy's stuff, right? Or you don't know? Okay, we don't know.
No, ultimately, it was back behind the couch.
Okay, it was behind the couch. Okay, I see. This is the part I got confused about, because I know that they touched her clothes, but I didn't know if there was anything in her clothes for them to be touching. The point is that they've engaged in these shenanigans about hiding the goddamn candy, and now they're upset that people are getting into their stuff. Well, don't hide the damn candy if you can't take the heat. Like, that's what the problem is right now. So, like, Jason and his side decided to really play hardball and hide the candy. And so the other side was looking for the candy, and they said, well, let's look in here. Oh, we're not supposed to touch that. That's Chrissy's clothes. Well, screw it. We got to find the candy. So we're looking through Chrissy's stuff. And she, you would have thought that somebody was murdered. I mean, she was just like, I can't believe these people. How dare they touch my stuff? And this is the part where I came in, because people started sending me clips. I was sleeping, and then of course I log online to see, well, okay, what's going on, and she's just beside herself. It was incredible.
Yeah, and I get it. It's like, it would suck to have people go through your stuff. That's not a good feeling, and that's a sentiment I've seen expressed. But at the same time, if you're someone who gets set off by that, the Big Brother house is not the place for you. It never was.
There's no privacy in there.
So, none whatsoever.
Yeah.
And also, we'll talk about the other incident. She was there and laughing as Jason and Shane rubbed their armpits on Shelby's pillow, and did not tell her. She had to find out herself by, seeing that it smelled weird. And she was laughing along with that, thinking, oh yeah, that's totally fine. But then gets really upset when people will go through her clothes. So you know and like so upset that she is in tears, saying that trash owes me an apology. Like, who are you? Who do you are right now?
Like, in no world is like, you know, like what you're worried about is like potential like rummaging, and you are fine with biological warfare. Come on, you know, that is not kosher.
Yeah.
There's nothing cool about the smear campaign.
Nothing
Nothing cool whatsoever.
Oh man, Taran, it's so funny. If you can go back and watch the video of this, guys, and and find this moment when Taran is doing the impression of Chrissy and how mad his face is. It's great. It really is great, Taran Armstrong. Well done. Okay, so we talked about.
There's another incident. If we
there's another. Okay.
Do tell.
Blanket Gate.
Okay, what was Blanket Gate?
So last night, you know, Danielle was made a have-not, and she's been complaining about that nonstop as well. But
of course,
Shelby wanted to take a blanket from the have-not room and bring it outside of the have-not room and use it. And she went into the have-not room, and her blankets weren't there. So she thought, like, oh man, Danielle and Shane must have stolen my blanket. So she took their blanket and tried to bring it outside, at which point she was told she wasn't allowed to do that. Really, the blankets had been in the washing machine, and so that's where they were. But when Danielle found out that Shelby had stolen her blanket, she freaked out, you know, like, this is unacceptable, like, these people are like this. It's the same rhetoric that goes on. And this is where I notice, again, like, Jason, it recognizes, like, hey guys, like, they're taking this much less seriously than we are. Like, that's not a good look. But you know, despite Jason's warnings, they're just they're so full of themselves that they just feel like, no, this is righteous indignation, and I'm completely in the right here. They should be punished. Like, yeah, whatever.
On the other hand, I will have to say, as far as the plastic sides goes, like, look, there's one of the beds in the have-not room is a little bit bigger, and Alex and Shelby would not give the bigger bed to Danielle, even though they knew that Shane was going to sleep with her. Like, have a little effing decency and just give her the damn bed, you know? I mean, like, why do you have to take the bed? Give it to the person who has a showman, who you know is going to be sleeping together.
You know, you campaigned.
I don't know if have decency is the thing to say.
I know
when
what
we're talking about the person who's not having sex on camera.
Brent campaigned for Danielle to go to be a have-not, so she would be separated from Shane.
I know, right?
But
I kind of didn't know that he was going to sleep with her anyway. So then once I saw that, I was like, why am I trying to be mean to him then? You know.
They got it on in the have-not trampoline last night, guys.
You are right. You are right though. Like, there is pettiness on both sides. Like that. That shouldn't be understated. Like, it's seriously ridiculous. I know some people are enjoying it. It's not something that I particularly enjoy from either side. But it's going on. Like, there's a lot of built-up resentment between the two sides.
All right. Hush. Alex is telling us that they got it on again. So
So Alex, I'm sure.
I didn't want to elaborate on that. I tried to slip it in unnoticed and move on. Come on now.
And Alex,
much like Shane. Hey-o. All right.
I see what you did there. Okay, so Alex doesn't want to elaborate, but I'm sure if you
the have-not trampoline, Jordan, the cobweb.
That's where they did it.
Yeah. And Shelby was like in the cobweb next door, and at one point she's just like, "Come on, guys."
Did she say that?
Yeah. Like, I don't want it.
She was gonna say, like, safe sex is the only type of sex, or something like that.
It's the best sex.
Yeah, safe sex is the best sex, and I'm like,
and then they groaned at her like, "Oh, effing Shelby has such an issue with our open sex right now."
At one point, Chrissy was like, "Man, it felt so nice to not fall asleep to like sloppy macking noises."
Macking noises.
I don't know. I couldn't remember the way she described it.
That sounds right.
That sounded right.
Hey, in fairness to Chrissy, no, I'm not.
Right?
That'd not be fun. Like, that's the big underrated or thing that is underreported thing about being in the BB house is you don't have. I don't know about you guys, but some people like to sleep with a fan or have some sort of white noise or whatever in the background, but you don't get that in the house. So if all you have is that sound. No, that's not good. That's not good. No.
Like if you've ever had like those friends that like, you know, for whatever reason you're in a situation where there's a bunch of people sleeping and there's those people, right? Those people where it's like they think that they're being subtle but they're not, and they're really just being douches. Like this is that on a grand scale, because not only are they doing it in front of you, but they're doing it in front of hundreds of thousands of people at the very least on this season, and millions of people on the TV broadcast season. Like it's strange that people are willing to do it, but they're comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, you forget about the cameras when you're in there, to be honest. So I learned that firsthand, unfortunately.
And it's also probably not making all the people who voted Daniela have not happy that Shane is able to sleep in there, and that like this behavior is continuing uninterrupted. I think that was some people's reasoning behind voting her there in the first place.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Okay, let's quickly just rapid fire go through some more names here. So just quickly, a couple words. Brent, buying or selling Morgan?
Like, that's a sideways arrow. I don't feel like she's done anything to disadvantage herself or advantage herself this week. I mean,
okay, I'll give you another one. Neely.
Oh, I think she's still on the upswing. I still like Neely's game. She's not rubbing anybody the wrong way. She's keeping her head down. Nobody really wants to target her. I mean, I do feel like she's going to quickly become ultra pawn here, but you know, I don't see her being evicted anytime soon. Not even, maybe like close to final 6, final 5.
Okay. Taran, Shelby, buying or selling?
Probably buying. I feel like she was in a lot of trouble earlier last week and coming into this week, but the perception of her is slowly starting to go from like annoying person that's maybe a threat that we need to get out to like, do I really want to waste my HOH on Shelby? Probably not. So I feel like she might be used as a pawn here and there, but I don't think she's probably going anywhere anytime soon necessarily.
Kidwell, your girl Whitney, buying or selling?
Whitney.
That's how the announcer guys always says Whitney. He always says it like that. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? It's like, I don't know if you guys have seen the Family Guy thing where Stewie says cool whip to Brian and he keeps getting mad. Anyway,
yeah, I'm trying to think of like what that's like a super educated Southern accent. I feel like you've got like you know, what's his name, Frank Underwood in House of Cards. Always drops the minority whip.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Okay, but anyway, Alex, quickly, buying, selling on Whitney, sorry.
Sideways. Yeah, there's nothing going on there.
I mean, I guess, well, it's like I felt like I was kind of high on Whitney last week, maybe, and other people weren't. So I feel like from that perspective, I kind of am in the same spot, but she's not doing anything wrong. I mean, certainly. And I think Justin, I've heard a couple key things from Justin who, like, let's all be honest, like, unless something drastic happens, Justin is in this game for the long haul. Like, I don't see anything that's really going to change unless somebody decides they need to make a move on him and like risk, you know, upsetting the entire natural balance of the whole thing in the process. So I think it was interesting that Justin was talking about like some of the people on like quote unquote the other side. And he was like, but yeah, Whitney doesn't bother anybody. She ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, that's kind of telling. Like, you know, I think Whitney is someone that's just, you know, good enough and social enough and not doing the things that grate on other people that, you know, just by sheer process of elimination, she looks like she's in a good spot.
Okay. Justin, I think Brent is an obvious buy, right? Or maybe, I don't know. I guess he was already at a high spot last week. So
yeah, but I'll still continue to buy him, though. I really will. I feel like that Justin is somebody who, you know, like if he's ever in danger, I feel like America's going to swoop in with the care package when they need to. Like I see Justin getting the double eviction veto that just handed to you, or the fast forward to the final 4 care package, like one of those two. I definitely feel like he'll get, especially if he's in danger. And there are enough people to give the other care packages to ahead of time that I feel like we wouldn't be forced to give it to him anyway. So, you know, we'll see.
All right. And last but not least, Taran, Shane, and Danielle as a unit, buying or selling?
Shanielle?
Yes.
Chanel?
As a unit, I guess I'll remain neutral because I feel like they were about as low as they could go last week in my estimation. So they're still there.
They're giving the shares away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? If it's
total
that
market
low,
crash.
right?
I had already sold everything. It's already gone. Like I'm not going to buy it back at this point.
All gone. Okay. All right, well then we'll jump into some of your guys' questions then. If you want to send them in again, you can tweet me. I'm at Jordan Parhar. Use hashtag RHAPpy Hour. Make sure you use that hashtag because it's harder for me to see them as I'm trying to balance, the questions and reading on Twitter and all this stuff. I'm a one-man band in terms of that. So if you could please use that hashtag if you want to get those in, that would be great. Other thing as well, we got the official chat room of the RHAPpy Hour going at chatwing.com/RHAPpy Hour if you want to join in with some people live chatting about the show. Okay, first question. This one is from friend of the show, Mike Bloom. Mike says, after looking at reactions to the have-nots, do you like house guests knowing America does or does not like them? Alex Kidwell, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't personally. I mean, I get the enjoyment from a drama perspective, and certainly it's different, and it's interesting in a sense, but you know me. I mean, I prefer the strategy first and foremost, and like Taran has touched on a little bit. I feel like this is something that tends to inhibit strategy more than enhance it because it does alter perception in a way that kind of like forces people in directions rather than like making them think they have all the options in the world, which is probably conducive to the best strategy.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you on that one, only because I feel like that the information that they get from America is always inconclusive at best. It's like, well, why did America do this? And why did America do that? And, you think you understand what's going on, but as Michelle stated on the previous podcast with us, you don't really know what America wants you to do or what America's trying to tell you. So I kind of like the fact that America has such a big hand here because ultimately America is going to be the one that determines the winner of this season. And the house guest that's best able to adapt and figure out, okay, who do I definitely need to get rid of based on the results that I'm seeing from America and take to the end is the person who's going to win the game.
Yeah, I think that's Taran.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that is what the strategy of this season is. But for me, it's not as enjoyable necessarily as the other kind of strategy. Like this week, I feel like there really hasn't been much to talk about other than like who's the best person to vote on, I guess. Like, most of the strategy is now coming from the audience, which I guess is a different kind of strategy. I prefer the other kind. I prefer watching them in the house. I'd prefer to be talking about the secret alliance that Alex does have with Jason and how they're going to try and, take out one side or the other. But this is a different game, and we're going to see hopefully that strategy does get more interesting down the line, because right now it seems to just be like two sides. Hopefully at some point things get mixed up more and the American influence has an effect where it's like you don't know who you can work with at this point.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've been dying for a season like this for a long time where there's two sides of the house. I mean, like, I loved seasons like this back in the day where you knew which side you were on, and I was totally cool with it, and I'm ready to go to war. That was my kind of season. I enjoyed those seasons. I know you may not enjoy those seasons, but I know plenty of people who did, and this season is giving me what I want. So, I mean, I've been very happy. I've been beyond shocked about how much I've liked this season. I've liked the mechanisms that they use to move the game forward. And I'm kind of thankful that America had such a big hand early on in the game that they did, because if they didn't, the plastic side of the house, based on the results of the HOH competitions, would absolutely be ruling this game, and I'd have to be putting up with goddamn Cornbread and Monty for the rest of my life. Well, instead, I don't have to listen to them anymore.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? Because they probably wouldn't. We'd probably see more intermingling at this point. We'd see people shifting sides more. I think that America has divided the house, and if you are somebody that likes divided houses, I think that's a really great thing for you. If you're somebody that likes the tension between the two sides, the petty fighting, all the drama, all that kind of stuff, I think this is seriously like that's a large portion of the audience, probably the majority of the audience. So there are probably a lot of happy people with this.
I still need to, I reserve right to alter my opinion, and I'll be a fancy fencerton for a second. But I think that there's a lot to be seen that we haven't seen yet, and I want to see what happens when somebody from the Misfits side wins head of household and how they use their reign to move their game forward. I could be wrong, but I feel like I'm gonna like the results of it though.
All right, this next question comes from Edward Giordano. Edward says, could this be the first all-female Final Four since Big Brother 6? Speaking of seasons where there's two sides of the house, Brent. And if so, who do you want in this hypothetical Final Four? Okay, so first off, let's unpack this. Alex Kidwell, thoughts on it's being an all-female Final Four. Personally, I don't think that's going to happen because I think Justin is pretty much a lock to be there at this point. No?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of early to say. I mean, 2 guys have gone home, and it started disproportionate guys to girls. So that's really the element here. It's just down to Scott, Shane, Jason, and Justin. But Jason and Justin are very, very popular. I would be surprised if one of those 2 guys doesn't make it to the Final Four.
Right. I would too.
Okay. Yeah. Taran, you in agreement on that?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, numerically, this is the best chance that an all-female Final Four would happen. It's the best chance for it in a while. But as Alex mentioned, I think that the fact that there are basically 2 guys that are generally at the top of the popularity charts isn't a good sign for it.
Hypothetically, though, if we're just let's just pretend that, let's say Justin and Jason do something that just pisses America off or the house off and they go home within the next month or so, and we do end up with an all-female Final Four. Alex Kidwell, who do you think right now most likely to make it to the end? I guess that's kind of a tough question, though, right? Because there's 2 sides of the house. So now that I think maybe I should just punt on that question.
Yeah,
I don't know,
pretty
right?
tough. It's hard to envision how it would go. I mean, we could say which 4 we would like to see there, but beyond that, I don't know if.
I think it would be a mix of people for sure. I think Neely would be there, and then a couple of the plastics, and then maybe somebody like Chrissy.
Oh no. Okay. Well. Okay. Well, let's take the next question. Okay. This is something we haven't touched upon that I wanted to. This one's from Christy Lee. Christy says, "Who do you recommend as America's nominee this week? I want Danny to go, but Scott and Pals to have the best chance at POV." And Taran touched upon this a little bit.
You want Danny to go, but you want Scott and Pal. Okay,
yes,
the plastics.
Exactly, right?
Okay,
Plastics.
Scott and the Pilgrims.
Yes, the ball smashers. The ball smashers.
Yeah, the plastics. They're not the ball smashers, please.
Yeah. By the way, that was so random. Why would they rename their alliance when they already all 4?
Well, they don't know that they're the plastics.
Yeah, I don't know that they ever
they did. Yeah.
Yeah, they called themselves the Plastics, but then they rebranded to Monty and his Pythons, and then when Monty left, they had to rebrand again.
Right. Yeah, it was like the whole Coke and the new Coke thing. It's not working.
Yeah, no. No.
And the rebrand happened without Scott, who had just won HOH to save them all. Scott's story, his big brother's story is Cornbread was super loyal to him and he voted him out right away. And then he's super loyal to all these people that want nothing to do with them. Really.
Yeah, nothing.
Right. Although I am liking Scott. If you didn't see him, he got into a little bit of a fight with Shane, where Shane was basically trying to get him to put up somebody from his side. And Scott really just stood his ground and basically told him to F off. He didn't say it like that, but he was basically like, I'm not going to put up people who were, who had my back. And, i.e., you didn't really have my back and you're trying to tell me what to do right now, dude. It was a very interesting little kind of a beta cock match between the 2 of them, and I enjoyed it very much.
It reminds me a little bit of Victor, actually, in that he's very loyal and just very honest about things, and because of that, when people come to him complaining, he's able to shut them down because listen, I've been straight up. You're the one that's been lying, so you can't say anything that's gonna make any difference.
Yeah, and it is funny to me that I was listening to Chrissy today say I know he's gonna put me up. He has some hatred of me. I don't know why. It's totally irrational. And then I just for the fun of it, flash back a couple days just to remind myself and listen to her talk about how she knew she would hate Scott because he's from Bangor, Maine. And how her mom had an ex from Bangor, Maine that pretty much ruined her entire family and was responsible for her grandmother's death or something crazy. I don't even know what the story was, but suffice it to say, Scott's hometown is a charge for Chrissy. Wow. And it was always going to be a volatile relationship. The moment he said, "Hi, I'm Scott and I'm from Bangor, Maine."
Taran, that would be if I hated you because you're from Boston and I hate the Boston Bruins, the hockey team. No.
I think that makes more sense, actually.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
But that's just so stupid. Anyway, so Danielle is the consensus. Danielle is going to go up. But is this the right move, Alex Kidwell? Should we be endorsing this? Are we endorsing the Danielle nomination?
Yeah, we're endorsing it, and
we are.
It's gonna happen because you've got like the overwhelming masses going that direction. As for like what is optimal strategy stuff, I'm just gonna let Taran speak on that because I'm not. I have exhausted my brain trying to like see both sides.
The whole deal is that Scott is trying to get Shane out, so he doesn't want him to give him an automatic opportunity to play in the veto. On the other hand, America has to put somebody up from the Misfits side if we want to make sure that somebody from the Misfits side goes. Otherwise, the Misfits themselves could have the votes to send home whoever they want if somebody from the Plastic side goes up. So you have to put Danielle up, and because she's A, least likely to win the veto, and B, not really his primary target. On the other hand, she's a good secondary target if something weird happens. Obviously, worst case scenario is A, Shane gets drawn to play in the veto. B, he then wins one of the two vetoes and opts to save Danielle. That's when all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, and like, if you want to talk about optimal strategy would be nominating somebody like Justin. That's probably best case scenario to get out one of the showman's members, but obviously that's not going to happen.
The other thing too is, why doesn't he just nominate them both? Why not just put up Shane and Danielle? Why did this switch? See, this is where I was asleep because remember I was tweeting we were all gonna nominate Chrissy, and then it was gonna be Shane and Danielle, and then the care package came, and then I had to go to work that night, and then all of a sudden it switched over to Chrissy and Neely are now the nominees, and he's gonna backdoor Shane. Why not just put them both up?
The veto, right, Taran? Is that why?
Well, basically when he got the care package, he saw the veto and he changed his plan. I do agree though with Brent in that if you're thinking about trying to take out one of the two of them, putting them both up still works. They still would have to come in first and second, which is not particularly likely, even though they have shown themselves to be good competitors. But I think the potentially the thing that changes his mind, I don't know if he's thought about this, but it is something that he should be considering, is that they have proven themselves to be good competitors. Neely and Chrissy are not necessarily good competitors. Neely has shown some aptitude for competitions, but what I think Scott is maybe doing is he wants to make sure that his side gets at least one of the vetoes because he's expecting his side to get put up, and he needs to make sure that they are able to use one of the vetoes on that nomination.
Okay. So, all right, I can go along with that.
Yeah, like I don't know if that's his thought process, but that's what. But
Taran, I'm sure it probably is because based on the knowledge he has, right? I mean, that side keeps getting screwed over by America, basically. So why wouldn't he assume that? So I think when you lay it out like that, I think it does make sense. This next one is from Dave from LA. Dave says, what are Scott's best and worst case scenarios with the double and boomerang veto? So I'll throw this to you, Taran, so that way Alex his brain can have a break.
Thank you.
So first, it's going to be the double veto that he's going to use, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so the double veto. So what's the best case scenario for the double veto for Scott is that him and I guess even if Neely and Chrissy won the double veto, that would be great, right? Or even if one of his people won.
That's the whole thing. He was saying earlier today,
anybody.
I think. Yeah, he was like, he was laughing at the fact that if Neely or Chrissy somehow fluked themselves into a veto, they would be inadvertently helping him out and getting his target out.
Yeah, anybody that wins the veto except for Shane is exactly what he needs, basically. So that it's literally all or nothing in that sense. It's if Shane wins, then both Shane and Danielle would be safe, assuming Danielle is on the block. If anybody else wins, then either Shane or Danielle will probably be going home.
But should he be choosing the boomerang veto?
Well, not necessarily, because in that case, if Shane is drawn, then Shane now has two chances to be safe because either he can win or Danielle can win, because Danielle would be able to keep the both of them safe if she won the boomerang veto. She would not be able to if she won the double veto.
Right.
Now, worst case scenario.
Although, isn't it less likely that someone from Scott's side goes home in that situation? versus like most likely for a member of the showmance to go home.
Well, assuming one of his side goes up, then he needs double the chances to win at least one of the vetoes because he only needs one to save his alliance member.
I feel like the boomerang veto is always the best choice because whoever wins the boomerang veto can't use it to save a replacement nominee. Like if Shane goes up as a nominee, as a replacement nominee, you can't then use it a second time to then take him down again. Like Danielle wouldn't, let's say Danielle's the winner of the boomerang veto and she goes up by America. She can't save herself and Shane with the boomerang veto. She just can't.
Well,
because
theoretically,
she can.
She has the choice, right? She can save herself and then not use the second half of it.
Right, because no one has to go up in her place.
Never mind.
Yeah, I know this is ridiculous.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. So that's the wrinkle in
like
that
I
game.
love games. I play games. This is like maddening. Like let's all get
the whole it's the whole America can't be replaced thing.
Yeah, the America can't be replaced thing is what really throws a wrench into it.
Taran may be tweeting like it's basic high school math and you guys are all stupid, but you know what,
I didn't
man?
say people are stupid.
I know, putting words in your mouth.
I am not the only one who misrepresents your positions.
No, he did it on purpose, though.
Okay, well then, Taran, let's talk about the worst case scenario then. Hypothetically, I guess for Scott, the worst case scenario would be if there's 2 vetoes and Danielle and Shane win both of them, right? But then I guess then it would just be, then if Danielle and Shane win, then I guess it's just Chrissy or Neely going home.
It doesn't really matter if they win both of them because
just the Shane one.
I feel like Chrissy and Shane are the worst case scenarios because
right,
that would make Danielle, Shane, and Chrissy all safe. So he would have to basically boot Neely, Justin, or Jason. None of those options are good for him.
Right.
Ooh, that would not. That would, man, that would be catastrophic if that happened.
And that could happen. You never know.
That could happen.
The Big Brother house.
Although
it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to accidentally take out one of the most popular players.
Oh,
yeah,
I mean,
for sure, for his game, definitely. But for the fans, I think the fans would be. I don't know what would happen if we saw
candlelight vigils.
If he nominates Jason or Justin, especially Justin, like he might as well just like move into the have-not room.
Yeah,
just go back out into that sand trap and just stay there for the rest of the season.
Oh, man. Okay. This question comes from John Heddles. John says, did you guys witness the amazing What Are the Odds game played by the ball smashers Scott and Justin yesterday before the safety ceremony? Anybody watch this? Yes? No?
I was working. Sorry.
Taran, Alex, yeah. What are the odds game? Did you any see that? No.
Apparently it wasn't that riveting. Nobody tweeted me about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm flashing through like all the ridiculous conversations, and I'm like, well, it's not about Eskimo brothers. It's not about.
I think this is the game where they were giving out dares, and they were dares. One of the dares was Shelby having to say, safe sex is the best sex at night. I think Scott had to go and like boop Jason on the nose.
Oh yeah, right.
And Jason was like, "Those are their pranks. Our pranks would be like, I don't know, something like really gross."
Yeah.
Which is totally true.
Yeah, like Justin's aforementioned idea of dropping his balls in Monty's raccoon hat.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Which is where that song originated that he was singing.
Wait. So he wrote a song about putting his genitals in Monty's hat.
There may or may not have been a jingle.
I literally, a tweet just was posted. Justin says, "Genital genetics. If it rhymes, it must be the truth." Everyone laughs and says that it doesn't rhyme.
The truth about what? Like, I love Justin,
dude.
so much.
Like that's an alliteration. Genital genetics. Like it's not a rhyme. Oh my god.
It's the truth. It's what it is. It's just the truth. It's the truth.
Justin is great. I love him. He's a fun guy. Speaking of Justin, this next one's from Sandy Brooks. Sandy says, "Is Justin's social game too good? Will his closeness with this ball smasher / Virgin King cause distrust in his alliance?" Brent, what do you think about that?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe not right now. I'll just say right now. Like Chrissy was positing the fact that, do you think that Justin's flipping or is he going to be working with the other side? Even though, like, obviously from people like Taran's perspective and even my perspective, it would be good for Justin to branch out a little bit and, make other alliances and relationships with people. But Jason was like, no way. He's solid. He's with us. And I do believe that when push comes to shove right now, he's with them. But who knows what happens down the line. Once you remove Shane from the board, what happens to Danielle? Because I know she's with the Misfits, but they don't really love her all that much. On the other hand, the Plastics kind of hate her as well. So I don't really know what's going to happen with Danielle.
Yeah, but she's more aware of their hatred. So for now, she hangs with the one side.
That's true.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think, it's interesting because you have certain people in there who have like one person they really want to see out. And I don't think they're necessarily going to be inclined to take the blinders off until that person goes. Like Chrissy is going to target Scott as long as it is an earthly option for her. There's not going to be another person in her crosshairs until Scott is no longer someone she sees every day. Probably the same is true for like Neely and Alex. And I think there's a couple of those situations.
Well, what's interesting is that America's Influence has kind of swapped the typical archetypes for people like Justin. I feel like he was swapped with Monty, where like typically Justin, like the character, the crazy kind of dude, he'll go out pretty early in most seasons, where the Monty type, who's just kind of like a social, or not necessarily Monty, but maybe more like a Shane, where he's just kind of like a boring social, boring social guy who's going to last for a while because he just fits in with the house. And then like halfway through the game, toward like 3/4 of the way through the game, he's finally going to be targeted because he's too likable, he's too athletic. I feel like that's potentially where Jason is headed. I was talking to Alex about Justin's game earlier, and I feel like, given my general knowledge of Big Brother, I feel like Justin probably gets targeted right around like week 5, week 6. And at that point, he has to either like win out, or America has to help him enough to make it to final 2. That's in a regular season of Big Brother. I don't know if it's going to happen in this season, but that's kind of where I see his trajectory right now, tentatively.
Yeah. But yeah, not Monty. Monty definitely went full Devin. And we should have expected similar results. I mean, when he's walking around in the robe and with the key all weekend, that's never a good sign. It's always
good times.
That's always like the high point of the roller coaster for any HOH, and you know it's coming.
Shane was definitely the better comparison there.
Yes, and you got yourself, Taran, so it's okay. Okay, next question. This one's from.
I just wanted the opportunity to join on Monty somewhere. Sorry.
No, that's okay. We're all about the Monty on this show, or Monte, as some people like to call her. All right, this next question is from Edward Morris, Edmo. He says, will Danielle get screwed more by America or Shane? Alex Kidwell, what do you have to say about that?
I'd rather not say much about that.
It's Shane, 100% Shane. Like, right. America has helped her out of a jam 2 weeks in a row. Even if they send her home this week, they're still up by 1 in terms of like helping her out. So definitely Shane.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I co-signed that as well. Okay. Next one. This one is this one's from Roxanne Segala. Roxanne says, according to the BBOTT voting schedule, America's last nominee vote will be November 12th to 13th. Thoughts? Have you guys seen this?
I was wondering this. I was wondering when the America's nominee would end. So do we know how many people are left at that point, and how many people are still in the house when America's nominee stops?
Well, I think we talked about this last week when we were looking at the future care packages. So that's, I think, right around when the Final 4 challenge pass comes in. So I think it's Final 6, Final 5-ish.
So what was the date again?
November 12th to 13th.
I think it's 2 weeks before the finale.
Isn't the finale December 1st?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about 2 weeks. So it'll probably be Final 5. Voting will stop at Final 5.
So there's 10 people left in the house right now, right? Yeah, because they started with
13. Yeah. Oh. So now we're down.
Oh, they started with 13. So there's 11 people left in the house right now. So there's 11 people left right now. Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Okay, so Brent's gonna work on that.
I imagine it would be Final 5, especially if somebody's gonna be safe at Final 5 anyway, right? Like, so then every eligible person would be up if America's HOH was still in effect, or America's nomination.
Right. Okay. Let's take one in the meantime.
So Final 7. Final 7.
Turn on Jason and Justin and take Shelby to the end.
There'll be 7 people left at the point when America makes its final nomination. At Final 6 onward. America has nothing to do. I don't know if America has an eviction vote, but we don't have a nominee.
Okay. I imagine America's eviction vote will stay.
I hope America's eviction vote goes the way of the dinosaur as well.
That would be great.
Yeah, I'd hope so. I mean, that would have a lot of power.
BBOTT, guys. Who knows what they have in
Maybe
store.
they'll just get rid of HOH instead. I mean,
Joe,
that's the other route.
Hooray! No HOH. That would be no. Okay.
Everyone's just like doing dances to the camera, like you can save me.
Just like the one that Justin was doing during.
I'm an option.
Right. Okay.
If you guys haven't seen when Justin did not become a have-not, I think you guys should go online and see that. That's a really good clip. Like he's running
really
up and down the streets like Fred Sanford, like it's like it's good, mate.
no reservations either. He did not care that he's rubbing it in people's face.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like Danielle was super upset, and he was just like, yes.
Oh man.
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care, everyone. Okay. Let's see. We had one here that I wanted to pull up. Okay, here we go. This one's from Evelyn Ferguson. She says, no question. Please continue to shame Alex for not liking Michael Phelps. Hashtag RHAPpy Hour.
God. Can we I don't know. Can we strike this one from the records? I'm never going to live this down.
Alex just doesn't like heroes or patriotism or any sort of good thing in this world, basically.
Yeah, I'm appearing on the list of suspected communists right now. I'm sure that still exists somewhere, right?
Oh, that's
totally
somewhere.
not a reference 70 years out of date.
He's a spy, everyone. Have you seen The Americans? He's a spy.
I have not seen The Americans, but I've heard it.
What's my trigger word, Taran?
All right. I don't know. Let's take one more question, guys, and then we'll wrap things up for this evening. This one is from Cassidy, and Cassidy says what was on my mind. She says, say one of the showmans goes, hypothetically, what is the next week going to look like? So we are assuming, guys, if things play out like we expect them to, and who knows, everything could just go up in the air. But I think it's probably, just based on how Taran has laid things out, I do think odds are one of Shane or Danielle is going to go home this week. So if that is the case, Brent Wolgamott, what is going to happen next week?
I have to think that Chrissy and Danielle would probably go up as nominees if the plastic side of the house wins head of household, although I don't think that's necessarily a good call on their part. And if the Misfits side of the house wins, I think that they would get a lot of pressure to put up Scott and Alex.
Okay, interesting. So Taran, you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that they'll still try to get Danielle out if she's still in the house. And as far as America goes, I think they might. I think that either there's enough momentum to get Chrissy on the block, or we might see that might be the tipping point, and we might see somebody like Alex on the block if she's not already.
I think Scott's also a possibility to go on the block. I mean, America sees him as a bit of a Ronnie, as a bit of a weasel. And they don't like that archetype.
Oh man,
poor Scott. I like that a Ronnie is the thing we say now.
He's a Ronnie.
He's being such a Ronnie in there.
Right.
Poor Ronnie. Ronnie's
such a friggin' Ronnie about it.
Ronnie is such a nice guy, and it sucks that he has that reputation. He really is a nice man, Ronnie Talbot, and that's so unfortunate that. Anyway.
I mean, I think Scott's a very nice person too.
Yes, so. Scott is a nice person, Alex Kidwell, right? You were saying he's like the poor kid. He just I don't think he's gonna be able to ever catch a break this season, and he just wants to be loved, and he's not getting it. It's so sad.
He's a little weird though. He says he does see Stephen King up there from time to time, so maybe Stephen King has touched him, and that's why he's kind of the way he is.
What? Are you accusing Stephen King of something?
He has eerie powers. You haven't heard about that? That's a real thing.
Actually,
oh God.
I've heard some stories.
Obviously not actually.
I've heard folk stories about people that have come in contact with him, and then weird things happen. Yeah, look it up.
Wow. Okay, so there we go. Michael Phelps and Stephen King. We covered all sorts of different topics.
Wow, I didn't think you'd go there, Alex.
No, I am stunned, but there we go.
It's a Bangor
attacking
Maine
my home state right there. You are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a Maine thing. Yeah, that's right. Taran is originally from
forgot.
Yeah. So apparently Chrissy doesn't like you, Taran. So
oh, no, I'm sure she doesn't. I also, 72 isn't my favorite number, so I've got that going against me as well.
Wait,
yeah, but she didn't pick it though.
Wait, that's a thing too? That's a thing?
She's constantly talking about now, like, oh man, 72 is the answer to the HOH question. That's my favorite number. Oh
she
my
almost
God.
got a tattoo of it, Jordan. She was this close to getting an H on her body.
Is she born in 1972?
I don't know, but she just all went
on
and on
the
about
oldest person in the house, which she thinks she is, but she's not because Neely's lying.
That this competition, right? Exactly. Yeah, right. Exactly. So she thinks that that this was her HOH to win because it basically required no physical effort whatsoever.
In fairness to Chrissy, though, I mean, 2 out of the 3, and even in the one that required, like Chrissy's not no slouch in the physical competitions. Like she had a good strategy for that second one. So I mean, she's not a bad competitor by any means.
I know, but she was like, this one should have been mine. I should have guessed 72. I don't know why I didn't do it.
Yeah, the universe gifted her the win, and she didn't see it.
And she said, no, thank you.
Yeah, she thought something better was coming.
72 is a terrible number, Chrissy. I'm just going to say that. Like, I don't know where, like, in terms of favorite numbers, as a sports, and maybe it's because I'm a sports fan, but no athlete ever that I can't name a single athlete that is number 72. And for good reason. It's just
like an offensive line number.
Yes.
And I thought Phelps and King were bad, but you're going after 72 now. I mean, this is dangerous stuff.
Yeah, bring it.
We're out.
While we're talking about the numbers and the ages, though, I should point out that like Neely slipped up this weekend where she was talking about how she got fired in 2001 when she should be 13. I'm like, wait, I'm 29 and that don't add up for me, Neely.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, getting laid off at 13, man, that's rough.
Wait, okay. So
you got bills.
Oh man. Okay, so quick timeout. So hold on. So if she was 13 in 2001, if she's actually 33, or is it if she's 28?
No, if she's allegedly 28.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Exactly.
Okay. But even
so,
I was gonna.
You were 18 and you lost
18 and you got.
It can happen, but
it could happen. It could happen, Neely. And I'm sorry.
I think it was like it wasn't like Chick-fil-A or something. It was like some kind of like I don't know, whatever it was. It's like not the kind of thing you would even think an 18-year-old would do. So.
Wow, maybe it was at a department store like that she can't say, like Nordstrom that first night. Anyway, guys, I think that's gonna do it for this edition of the RHAPpy Hour. If you guys in the chat room could give us some hashtag ideas, that would be great. In the meantime, just setting things up for you guys a little bit here. We still have tickets available for the Big Brother Over the Top live show that's taking place in New York City. Not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday. Guys, it's almost here. I can't believe it. Maybe there will be, maybe Brent and Taran will sing a duet a la Polly Calafiore. Who knows what will happen? Lots of shenanigans. It's going to be a very fun night. I had someone ask me what the format is for the show, if it'll be similar to a live Survivor Know-It-Alls. And to be honest, we don't really know.
I think basically.
I think so. Yeah, but I mean, we don't know who's showing up. So I think, and there's no episode we have to discuss. So I think it'll probably be formatted similar to the Tuesday show that Rob does, except it will be live. And we will
I don't know if Rob's going to be able to show like the recap or like the previous day's recap on like the screen or something. Because I know that we watch the Survivor episode when we're there for Know-It-All, so yes. I don't know if we can see anything for this. If we just go straight into a show, that's fine with me. I don't care. Whatever Rob wants to do.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but it's going to be a great night. Please come check it out if you're in the New York area. We'd love to meet you and hang out with you, have a beer, chat about Big Brother. You can get those tickets by going to robhasawebsite.com/BBOTT live. Tickets are $10, and I believe Rob mentioned on the last show, you can come if you are 16, but you need to have a parent 18 or above. You're good to go. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. Don't forget to subscribe to the show as well. You can go to robhasawebsite.com/RHAPpy Hour. That's happy hour with an R at the front, to make sure you don't miss an episode of this on iTunes. You can also subscribe again by going to robhasawebsite.com/YT to get the video version of this podcast. And if you guys could give this video a thumbs up, like it. That would help us out a lot. So it will be greatly appreciated if you can go ahead and do that. Brent, I hear you're yawning. I'm sorry that I'm boring you so much. It's I guess
I'm already checking out.
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't mean. I thought you couldn't hear that.
I can hear it all, Brent. I can hear it all. I'm like Stephen King, like that. I can hear everything. Okay, looking at the hashtags, I see.
I've got a couple.
Okay,
I
Alex.
was actually writing some down this time. Aren't you proud of me?
Okay, so I'm very proud. Thank you. So what do you have?
So I've got hashtag smear campaign.
Okay, I like that.
I've got hashtag macking noises.
Okay.
And I've got hashtag 13 going on Neely.
Okay.
All equally dumb, and take your pick.
Oh, I mean, come on. It has to be 13 going on Neely. Yeah.
That's
of course. Just great.
Yeah. So please tweet us with the hashtag and let us know what you thought about the show. Leave some comments at robhasawebsite.com as well. Love getting those and hearing your thoughts and what you guys have to say. Just a programming note, Rob will be back on Tuesday to recap what went down in the veto ceremony, what went down in terms of America's nominee, all that stuff, and basically giving you a preview for the eviction. And Wednesday night, we will be back live at midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific, working the night shift, talking about the eviction and the upcoming HOH competition and all that sort of jazz. So don't forget to tune in for that. If you're around, I believe that should be after the U.S. presidential debate. So you can watch the debate, get into the serious stuff, and then after, check out the silly nonsense to take your mind off of everything. Should be a really fun time. Don't forget to follow all these guys on Twitter. Alex is at Alex Kidwell. Brent is at One Lucky Gay, and Taran is at Armstrong Taran. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. And thank you to you guys watching us live. And those of you listening in the audio archives, we greatly appreciate it. For Alex Kidwell, Brent Wolgamott, and Taran Armstrong, I'm Jordan Parhar. Hashtag 13 going on Neely. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Peace out.